Hi, it's Alex from Royston Lund here this morning to give you a market update on early 2023. Okay, so before we look forward, I think we need to look back and sort of take account of what happened towards the back end of last year. So in September we had Trussonomics. That unfortunately hurt the housing market as we look at October, November and December. The market gradually falling by 2% towards the back end of last year. That, with some of the changes that came in, forced people to sit on their hands, perhaps delay any moving plans that they had whilst they just took stock and waited to see what ultimately the market was going to do. So moving into 2023, generally people don't move at Christmas anyway because it's a time where we all want to be with family, friends. So we've seen that in the numbers backed up on a sort of local level. So we have 4 branches across the East and West Midlands: West Bridgford, Keyworth, Ashby, De La Zouch, and just on the Pen Road in Wolverhampton. And we have some differing results depending on where you live. So Keyworth, if you look at new instructions for this sort of first month post-Christmas, there's actually more property entered the marketplace so far this year than there were last year. That sentiment's kind of the same for West Bridgford. I think we're on track to certainly equal the amount of property that came onto the market in 2022. Moving over to Ashby. Ashby is a different story. Obviously it's a different marketplace, northwest Leicestershire. At the moment they are sort of like 50%, so they're trading at 50% of the number of properties that came onto the market. So to put that into actual numbers, 230 houses listed in and around that area last year. I think we're at 111 month to date, so there's a big change there. And that really is backed up or consolidated from our Wolverhampton office. Again, there were 90 properties come to market in January 2022, just shy of half of that so far in January 2023. So last year, consumer confidence was low. Obviously, a lot in the press around recession, almost talking us into a recession. We've certainly come back post-Christmas and seen a real bounce back in the market. So I think it's really interesting when you look at that data, demand to move into, or indeed put your house on the market in West Bridgford, looking at January's numbers, is going to be equal to, or perhaps slightly up against last year, which doesn't surprise us. Once people live in the area, they very often only really want to move and stay within the area. And so that's upheld, or this market, in West Bridgford's upheld by a really strong demand to move into this area. And then people thereafter generally tend to stay within it. So with the demand so strong to live in West Bridgford, that does and has obviously put upward pressure on prices. So more and more buyers are now looking for value elsewhere. So prices in Keyworth, properties in Keyworth, Ruddington, Radcliffe-on-Trent, these sort of just ever so slightly outlying areas are also hugely popular, with numbers of properties coming to the market up this year on last. So it's safe to say sentiment towards the back end of last year was very low indeed. Certainly this year, January so far year to date, sentiment is really strong in the West Bridgford and Keyworth markets, with sentiment beginning to pick up, so perhaps not as quickly in the Ashby and Wolverhampton marketplaces. That really does highlight and underline really how we feel as estate agents moving into 2023. Halfway through 2022, it looked very much as though the market would be returning to a seasonally based market. So by that, we mean it generally picks up February, March, April, May, begins to fall off as we approach the summer holidays, generally when people go away, who have families, take holidays. It then begins to pick up again in September, October and November. Obviously with Trussonomics, that pickup that we expected to see, September leading up to Christmas did not happen. And therefore, I think that's why we've had such a good start to 2023. That being said, I do think that the return, or more of a return, to a seasonal marketplace is what we need to look at, what we need to expect and work towards. The start that we've had in January 2023 is really, really positive, and it stands, I think, in good stead moving forward. But really we'll know a lot more as we move into probably mid to the end of February, really where the housing market is going to go. I think there's a lot been said in the press in and around markets dropping, markets falling, generally driving consumer confidence down. And we just aren't seeing that. We're seeing people motivated to buy and to sell, properties going to best and final offers still, even now. So moving into 2023, and whether you are thinking of selling, I do genuinely think that the prospects are good. Consumer confidence is on the rise. When you look at the number of market appraisals that have been booked through our different branches, we've already booked more market appraisals from our West Bridgford and Keyworth branches this year relative to the same period last year. That does indicate that more and more people are already thinking of making that move and taking advantage of what is growing consumer confidence in this sector. So last year we sold just shy of 400 houses and were able to negotiate £2.3 million over our guide prices. We're not saying or suggesting that the market this year is going to be as strong as that, but what we are seeing early on is that there is a demand for properties. There are certainly still lots of buyers out there, and so actually this year moving forward we still think that best and final offers are going to happen, and we can't see the market, well, we can't see the bottom falling out of the market or anything as drastic as that. So if you think 2023 is going to be your year and you'd like some advice around moving, do please give Royston Lund a call. We would love the opportunity to come give you some advice. Don't forget to like, subscribe, all that jazzy stuff, and we'll see you on the next one.